Although our form is now complete for this project, there is still some other useful input types which I want to show you. I'm going to add these as a new form element to keep them separate from what we'll be keeping from the rest of the project. So let's go down to our closing form type here, and then let's open a new set of form elements here. So some other useful input types include number. This has the input element, and this time we'll add a type of number. So one of the benefits of using number, if we refresh, we'll see it appearing here, is that it restricts the user's input to just numbers. So if we click on this and we try to add some letters or words inside here, these aren't taking any effect, but we can of course add some numbers, which you can see here. There is also this up and down button on the right hand side, which we can use to go up and down through numbers. Next, if we want to ask for the user's password, it makes sense to do this with a input with the type of password. This has the benefit of starring out the password. So if we type in our password inside of here, we see that we can't see any of the characters which we've entered. This is useful for if somebody is behind you or walking past, so nobody else can see the password which you enter. There is also an input type of date, which we also have access to, and as you'd expect, this is the input type of date. And this is obviously for a date field. Let's take a look at this in action. This could be used for when asking for a user's birthday, or for example, selecting a date we want to stay in a hotel on a travel website. If we click on this, we have the date, the month of the year. We can also control this with the keyboard by typing up and down, and tab also switches between the day, the month and the year. We can also click on this drop down arrow and we have a date field where we can select different months of the year. And then all we need to do is click on one of the dates and the field is automatically populated with the date we clicked on. Regarding these inputs, there's quite a few more too which you can look up online, but I will show you a few more of the common ones such as colour. So change the type to be colour. You've probably seen this one before on various websites where we have a colour picker. So if we refresh, we'll see the colour black is default. This looks different on different browsers, so if you're using something like Edge or Firefox, you may have a slightly different looking input type here. If we click on this, we'll get a nice colour picker. This of course is the Apple one, and yours may look a little bit different. So we'll click on various different values and choose our colour from there. Another useful one is range. So input with the type of range. Back over to the browser. Range gives us a slider which the user can move across by clicking on it and dragging to the left and right. By default, the slider is in the middle, but there are also some attributes we can add to change things. We can change the minimum and also maximum. So if we set the minimum to be 1 and the maximum to be 10, this gives us a range of 1 to 10, which we can drag between. Then we can control the starting position of the slider. Currently, as we said before, it begins in the center, but we can change the starting position by setting the value attribute. So if we set this to be 1, it would appear at the beginning. So let's give this a go. And we now see the circle right at the very start. If we change this to be a value of 10, it would appear right at the very end. And this is a useful input type, particularly when we start learning about JavaScript. We can use it for things such as setting the volume on a music player, so it goes up and down as the user drags. The final input type I want to show you in this video is search. I'm sure you've all used these before to search for items on a website. This is something which can be used on our website in the header section. If we look at the final site here, up at the very top, we have a search field just here. I'm going to now remove this second form which we've been playing around with and bring that back up. And then we can add a search to the header. So if we scroll back to the top of the page and into this header section, we can add this just after our navigation with an input type equals search. And we can also add a placeholder attribute to of search and close it off. One of the differences between this and a normal text input is after we type something, there is an X which appears to delete the search term. So I'll show you what I mean now. If we refresh and then go back to the top and we start typing in, we see this X on the right hand side to clear the form input. Also, as with other form elements, the HTML only provides the visual search box. Searching for anything at the moment will not work just with HTML alone. We also need to add this search box to the header in the index page too, and also the product detail. If we click on the home, we don't see this added inside of here. So let's copy this input from the contact page. And first let's add it in the product detail in exactly the same location below the nav. And then if we open up our sidebar and go into the index.html, we can do the same just here. Let's try this out. So on the home, we have the contact us, and also if we click on one of the products, such as the game controller, we're seeing the product detail will also have the search bar there. So now you should have a pretty good idea of the different ways we can gather information using forms and inputs. I hope you found this useful, and I will see you in the next video.